Hi again, everybody. Tony Caridi along with Jed Drenning. We're on the clock with Jed as the upcoming West Virginia football season quickly approaches. In our last report, we talked about the Flames of Liberty. Week 2 will bring East Carolina to Morgantown, a bitter defeat to East Carolina by the Mountaineers last season. And, Jed, you look at it, a lot of things went wrong that afternoon.
Absolutely. It's not necessarily the loss itself that you find so troubling, but we've heard Coach Stewart talk about this, and it's the most obvious glaring problem coming out of the game was the nature of the loss. It really didn't seem as though we even showed up. It was kind of go through the motions type thing, which was troubling for a fan, for a coach, and quite frankly for a player to be a top 10 team, go into what you know is going to be a raucous environment just by virtue of what they'd done against Virginia Tech the week before. It was going to be tough, and we weren't tall to the task, and as a program, we've become used to doing that, overcoming that kind of adversity. We saw us do that a handful of times last year, but that wasn't one of those cases. That was an exception. And they're coming to town next year looking to continue to build their program. Skip Holtz stayed for a reason. All right, now Skip Holtz, if he wants to take it +1, the next step in that evolution of building that program is to go on the road and pull off an upset, the likes of Virginia Tech, the likes of West Virginia. Yes, Virginia Tech at home again this year, but at some point you think that they're going to be victimized by trying to burn the candle from both ends. At some point they're going to burn their fingers, you know, with the likes of West Virginia, Virginia Tech, all gunning for these guys because they're no longer under the radar.
Yeah, no question about that. Patrick Pinckney is the quarterback for East Carolina. Again, yes, that name should sound familiar. It's his 6th year in the program. He was granted a 6th year. But you did some research there, Jed, and you have found that when Patrick Pinckney comes to Morgantown, he's a much different quarterback than when he's back in Greenville.
Absolutely. And first of all, I can't cast aspersions as a guy who played 6 years of college football myself. But the truth of the matter is he is a much different quarterback. His passer rating over the course of his career, you have a large body of work to draw from. The kid's already played this many years, so he's played twice here and twice in Greenville. He's averaging about 240 yards a game in Greenville, about half that here in Morgantown. He's been picked off twice as many times here in Morgantown. His career passer rating is about 30 points south here in Morgantown of what it is in Greenville. He's a much different player and a much different quarterback, and he was a key part in what they did to us down there last year. And it was only about 10 months prior to what happened last year that he struggled so mightily here at Mountaineer Field. And if memory serves, I think it was like the 3rd quarter before they got their first down, and their fans were elated to see that happen. So that guy is trying to exact some of his own vengeance. He wants to go on the road and prove that he can be a big-game road quarterback. They started to taper off toward the end of the season. Some of the fervor and excitement that made them a media darling early on had died off. They dropped 5 games down the stretch, still find a way to win Conference USA and make it to that bowl game, but they are looking to really, really put an exclamation point on what they accomplished last year. They've won more games each year Skip Holtz has been there, and they won 9 last year. Is that trend going to continue? Well, they have a lot of talent coming back. A couple of the best cards in the area, in the conference, maybe even in the country. Some true weapons. They have depth like nobody we will play at wide receiver. They lost their 2 starters last year. Dwight Freeney, a freshman, and Joe Womack, a freshman, came in and had to start down the stretch, played very well. That is going to serve them well this year in terms of depth. So they have a lot of talent on the offensive side and return most of that defense that did that to us last year. Over a 2-game stretch against us and Virginia Tech, they allowed 2 touchdowns and less than 250 yards per outing, and most of that unit's back. So we're going to have our hands full.
No question about that. One thing, though, is for sure West Virginia, if they did, in fact, overlook East Carolina last season, will not overlook the Pirates week number 2. On the clock with Jed Drenning, I'm Tony Caridi. Thanks for being with us on WV, MetroNews.com.